All right. Welcome back to episode 4 of the Practical Wealth Podcast. Today, our guest is Orion. He's one of the advisors here at Invicta. Do you want to just tell everyone a wee bit about yourself and how you've ended up here and why you're still here?
Okay. That's a lot to go through. Um, okay, so I got here after I was shoulder tapped by one of the managers who is actually one of my best friends from high school. And at the time I was in real estate as a salesperson. And I've been doing that, I think overall it was like 2.5 years, something like that. And during that sort of entire time that I was in there, every now and then he'll just bring up the conversation every time we're together. It's like, oh, have you thought about financial advising? And because I sort of had an idea of everything that he did when we would catch up, because he's just sort of talking about his work, But throughout the entire time, I was like, no, I think I just want to stay in real estate.
Yeah.
I really want to. I knew at that time, and even when I first joined real estate, that it was never going to be my career.
Why?
Why? Because I think for me, the job or career that I want long term is something that fulfills, I think, like those sort of 3 freedoms that people talk about. So like location freedom, time freedom, and financial freedom. With real estate, you have a good shot at that financial freedom if you do all right, but your location freedom and your time freedom, those are gone essentially. You're working weekends, open homes, and you can't even move out of the city that you're in, or if you do, it's going to be pretty hard basket to find your roots in another city.
That makes sense.
So I knew at the end of the day that was never going to be my long-term career, but I wanted all of the things that real estate would give you that I don't think any other industry would be able to give you. It's like, first of all, it's just really hard yakka, because if you can do all right in real estate, I think you can do pretty well anywhere, because it's one of those positions that I think like everyone hates you, just off the bat. You think of a real estate agent, oh, slimy, dirty, just want to sell you and say anything that they possibly can to you.
Took the words from my mouth.
Yeah, exactly. No, I think it's just so classic.
Yeah.
So if you can do all right as a salesperson, then in real estate, then you can do all right anywhere. So that's the mindset going into it. It's like I want to learn about real estate too, just full stop, just as an asset class. I think real estate's really interesting, something I want to learn about, especially while I was young. But number 2, just all the soft skills.
Yeah.
Because, talking to people that don't want to talk to you and having to figure that out and navigate that, that's just, a gold mine of personal development, really. So I was in real estate during that entire time. I never did anything that was too great, so to speak, in real estate. Very average, potentially even below average. But it was this time I was in Southeast Asia on holiday, and Andrew just called me out of the blue, and he's like, look, I know I've been chatting to you about this, but I'm actually a bit more serious now. How about when you come back, how about we just sit down and I'll tell you about the role and I'll show you how it all works. And then from there on, you make the decision. I'll never talk to you about it again. So I got back from my holiday.
Great.
Caught up with Andrew, and he just told me, hey, look, here's how it all works. And I was like, great, this is actually really interesting. This sounds like really quite up my alley.
Yeah.
The other thing actually about real estate that was really difficult for me, being quite young, I think I got in there when I was like 20 or 21. Yeah, you got mates from high school. Yeah, I grew up in Christchurch. But in terms of network of people who are actually interested to buy or sell real estate, that's non-existent. So the entire time I was in there cold calling, cold door knocking, all of these things to just try and find any sort of a business.
Yeah.
And all of my business, I'm actually really proud to say it, but all of my business was, I didn't have any referrals. I didn't have anything like fed to me on a spoon. All of it was through cold calling or door knocking.
That's really impressive.
I'm pretty happy about that.
Yeah.
But moving from real estate into financial advice, bit of a different story where it's flipped a bit on its head in the sense that the people that we tend to talk to are warmer. So giving them a call, And rather than like 90% of your day-to-day activities being prospecting for someone who doesn't want to talk to you, now it's like talking to someone who actually might want to have a conversation with you. And I think one of the other things about real estate that sort of icks me a bit is the stereotypes do sort of hold a bit truer, in the sense that you do tend to do better if you just say the right things, so to speak. And to me, saying the right things doesn't equate to giving good advice. So they talk about real estate salespeople, and then sometimes they try to call themselves real estate consultants. I never thought that was really necessarily like a true fact. Whereas me being a financial advisor, I genuinely feel like I'm actually giving advice. So when I'm talking to people who actually want to have a conversation, no longer is it now about like, can we do this transaction? It's about how can I help you? Or you talk to me originally and you have this feeling of like, I just want X, Y, or Z. And then I ask you the questions of why do you feel like you need X, Y, or Z? What about A, B, C? Like, how do these options look for you, and how would that potentially better fit your situation, which they hadn't even considered because, they don't have the education around that. So I guess answering the question of why I'm still here, I think I really actually enjoy the job. I think anybody here that would come on this podcast and talk about financial advice, they never found themselves like thinking about it like yourself. You never thought like, oh, I'm going to go into this career to be a financial advisor. You sort of stumble into it the same way I did. And the reason why I'm sticking around is because I think it's just, I feel like I'm giving actual real advice and making tangible differences to people's lives, essentially. I know it's probably like
it's soppy.
Yeah, so it seems quite altruistic almost. But it's not. It's like you have decent remuneration for what you do, but the fulfillment is definitely number one for me.
No, that's true. It's true. I think a question with that is why are you so fulfilled by giving people financial advice?
Yeah, no, that's a great question actually. I think
like why for you specifically?
I think I love to yap, and also I love to be very detail orientated. So when it's like crafting out a plan for someone, my favorite scenarios are when someone actually has a genuine interest. It's not like just one that's they're just trying to crack it out in the sense of like, I just want to get this put in place and let's do it as quick as humanly possible. Maybe it's suboptimal, the plan. But my favorite cases, and I'm actually that sort of situation, I'm more than happy to help out there. I think that sometimes it's just necessary. That's life. But my favorite cases, and where I get the most fulfillment, is when someone's genuinely willing to talk about the plan, and they're willing to go through the detail that I've put in, and I know that I've gone through these hoops and hurdles to try to provide something that will truly protect whatever they're trying to protect and look after their goals. If they're willing to sit down, talk to me about that, and have the conversation, have that hui, so to speak, about the entire thing and why I've done these things and how it actually protects them, and they see the value in that. That's that fulfillment. And there's a couple reviews on the Google with people who've had similar conversations like that with me, and it's just like getting something like that in and of itself is just so fulfilling. It's like touches your heart.
You are really, one thing that I do notice a lot about you is you are really good at connecting with an array of people, but especially those who have very, very little financial literacy. And you're able to deliver the advice in a way where people that would never have got access to it otherwise can now actually take action on it and improve themselves, which is cool.
Totally.
So well done.
Yeah, thank you.
Some questions just around the job, more so speaking generally. Is there anything that shocked you most from a client's perspective, like anything that shocked you most financially that you think you can have a big impact on?
That I think I can have a big impact on.
A variable that you could control or that they could control that they're not controlling?
Yeah, I guess this is a bit more like maybe big picture. Not sure. Yeah, but I think to me, one thing that a lot of people feel like don't have control of is peace of mind if anything were to happen to themselves,
Right.
their partner, or their family. And I think that's one thing that's a
Yeah.
variable, especially in this space of personal risk,
Yeah.
life insurance, all that sort of stuff. That and I can provide that variable and control for them.
Yeah.
So whether it's like just putting in a plan of like just life insurance, or if it's life, trauma, and income protection, all these things that they know that when they go to sleep at night, if they or their partner, if anything happens to them, then they know that they're going to be financially okay. I think that's a variable that can control, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. And to wrap things up, the last question I've got for you is, in the things that you've seen with all of the clients that you come across, is there a common theme that you think is something that's just not talked about enough? And if it was one takeaway for the people listening, they should think about this?
I think when people come into the space of insurance, they're just really thinking about how much they think they need,
Right.
not actually thinking about how much they really need.
Yeah.
In the sense that, like having a sit down with an advisor and going through the potential scenarios and cases, their figure in their mind could look a lot different. So to what is actually necessary.
Yeah. Do you think that those assumptions are based on the fact that they just don't know and they feel uncomfortable having to get advice from somebody else and they feel like they should know but don't?
Yeah, I think 100% that actually.
Yeah.
But it's like that's the thing too, is that I think especially when we sit down and we start talking, I think my first thing there is letting them know, look, you're really on the right track in terms of actually just coming down and having a sit to talk about it all. So just making them feel comfortable, I guess, and willing to open up about their situation so that I can actually provide decent advice around there.
No, it's a great answer.
I don't know if I answered your original
No, you
question.
did. You definitely did. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up.
Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks, Jared.
Thank you.